Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans and those normally forced to listen. However, today is someday, and someday ain't nobody gonna be forced to listen to HelloGreedo. That's right, it's time to drink up! Hello there, and welcome back to Pink Milk. Or, if this is your first time listening, welcome to Pink Milk. I'm your host, Brian. Normally, my better half and your better host, Tom, joins me. However, he is still MIA until next week. So, to close out this past few months of hangouts and conversations with other YouTubers, podcasters, friends, co-hosts, all of those things, we are closing this out with the Greedo himself, the man of hellos, the man of stormtrooper helmets, and the mans of McClunkies. Well, maybe not McClunky, because I don't think it's his favorite. But we are about to have a conversation with HelloGreedo. I am so excited. I was nervous. Hopefully it all sounds okay, because in all honesty, the night before, I woke up at midnight and never went back to sleep. I don't know if it was excitement, nerves, a little bit of both, but that's what I did. And I got to tell you, I had a fantastic conversation with him. He is a solid dude. I have watched his show for a very, very long time. I've read his book, and I had a feeling he was a solid dude, but in actual conversation, I've got to say, he's even more solid than I thought he was going to be. So I'm really excited for y'all to listen. He was feeling under the weather, was here anyways. So, what else do you need to know that someone's solid? They did me a favor. I have said it. If you've listened to this before, one of the best things, most important things you could ever ask from someone is their time. And he gave me his time. And not only his time, his full, genuine interest and connection. So I'm really, really happy and very grateful to him for how this turned out. One of the standout moments that I think all of us will walk away from after this conversation is his absolute adoration for his daughter. And it was really moving. It was really, really touching to talk about Star Wars and talk about parenthood, and then to just hear him talk about her future was really awesome. And I was moved. And more of that from parents, please. Love your children. Let them be who they want to be. And don't push them into the places that we want them to go or expect them to be. Just let them be. And it's our job to pay attention and just watch and learn who they are at the same time they do. So, what a great lesson Star Wars can be. We see so much Star Wars is from broken homes or whatnot until we meet Mando. One of the reasons I love him, we were watching this character not at the fall of a relationship, but at the building of one. And it was really awesome. And I think about a parent with a toddler, and we're at the building of this relationship and watching who a child becomes. And it's pretty great. So, HelloGreedo, thank you so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. And listeners, I hope you enjoy this. If you are a new listener because you came from him, welcome. I hope you have a lot of fun. We talk Star Wars from more of an emotional perspective, and how our lives interact with the lessons that Star Wars teaches. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of that in this here conversation. So speaking of which, let's get going. Drink up. Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome, HelloGreedo, to Pink Milk. Hello, sir.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on. If you can't tell in my voice, I think I'm a little under the weather, but it's all good.
That's all right. You're going to have some good stuff to hear. So the listeners, anyway, so we're all good. So real quick, just to catch everybody up to speed on what you're doing, which could lead to the sickness, right? Because you are back in school.
Correct. Yep. That's true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it could lead. That's could be why I'm sick. It also could be that I have a toddler in preschool and I haven't been well in like a year. But yeah, I'm currently in the fire academy, becoming a firefighter. So it's possible that being around all sorts of human beings have given me this sickness.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for your service in the past, and thank you for the service that you're going to be giving everyone in the future.
Thanks, man. It's been fun so far. So
yeah, I was here on your live streams, which I very rarely get to catch in person, but I always enjoy listening to them. So
thanks.
I have to give full warning to everyone. I'm slightly nervous because I'm a very big HelloGreedo fan. You are like the first person that I found on YouTube. I've said many times on the show, Star Wars has always been just like my thing. I never really knew a lot of other Star Wars nerds. I never knew any of that stuff. And I would say, and I'm old, so I was around before YouTube was around. Mm-hmm. And I thought the only thing you could get on YouTube was music videos because MTV was no longer playing music videos. And so I think I found you probably 5-6 years ago.
Wow, nice. So around maybe the Force Awakens time?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You were standing in front of what looked like the bridge of a Star Destroyer with your helmet on.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I always get called like one of the first Star Wars YouTubers, and it's really strange. There's another Star Wars YouTuber who called me the grandfather of Star Wars YouTube, and I'm like, dude, you're a little older than me. But yeah, it's been cool to see this like evolution of not only YouTube, but kind of Star Wars on the internet and the fandom, and how that's changed my own perspective, and how, younger fans have grown up to have a voice on the internet. It's really interesting, this whole 10 years that I've been doing it, just how it's changed me and the fandom. But
10 years. That's
weird. I've never done anything in my life for 10 years. It's crazy.
No. Oh, well, parenthood's going to change that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you're going to be doing something forever.
30. Yeah.
So that's awesome. 10 years. That is just, because when did YouTube start? Like 2005?
Yeah, something like that. I was going to say 2006, but it could be 2005. And yeah, I started in 2011.
Okay.
And yeah.
So what is it, to lead into that, what is it about Star Wars? Like, what is it that keeps you coming back to it?
I think, as much as I love the stories and the characters and stuff like that, I think so much of it, and maybe I've noticed this as I get older, so much of it is this deep-seated nostalgia love. This like, it just instantly brings me back to a simpler time of throwing pine cones on the playground, or, it no matter where I am, if I see a Star Wars action figure, if I hear the theme, or, if I'm waiting in line to go in to see The Force Awakens or something like that, I am instantly transported to being like 12 or 13. It's weird. It's weird. And nothing else in my life other than, I don't know, playing like Super Mario brings me back to that. It's very strange, but I don't know how it is for you or anybody else, but that's kind of a huge aspect of it for me.
I mean, yeah. So, because you live in a world that Star Wars has just always been there too.
Correct. Yeah. I don't have memories before Star Wars. It's weird. Like, I don't remember when the first time I saw it was or anything like that. But
yeah, no, like we were just talking about it. We did, we started going through the first 6 movies on our Friday night live streams to prepare ourselves for Bad Batch, which is coming out in May, obviously. Right. Just to see how much of the prequels is going to push into A New Hope in that series. I am so stoked for the show, like beyond. Yeah. But we were talking about some of our first memories, and I don't exactly remember either. The toys kind of come first. I remember seeing Return of the Jedi in the theater.
Okay.
And I've shared the story a few times, but Max Rebo is what made me a Star Wars fan, because I fell in love with this collector's magazine that I still have sitting right back here in my bookshelf that I bought at a circular rack at a grocery store. And inside is the centerfold. That's probably the kind of centerfold my dad wished I was looking at. But it was of the Max Rebo band, and there was a blue elephant laying there in the middle. And I don't know what it was, but I fell in love with that character. And I remember seeing that movie in the theater. I was four when it came out, and was hysterical when he died in the sail barge explosion, because he was a good guy, and it devastated me.
He just wanted to play music, man. That's awesome. Huh?
Like, it's not really a fully formed memory. And then fast forward a few years later, when they started coming on VHS, and younger people will not remember this because everything's released right away. But when I was a kid, just because it was on VHS didn't mean you could go buy it at a store.
Right.
So my mother somehow bought them through a Blockbuster. And my dad was supposed to give me only one on Christmas. And I opened all three of the VHSs. And back then, they weren't playing on HBO. They were not on TV. It was did not exist.
VHSs were super expensive, too.
They were
super expensive.
Yeah, because only rental places could get them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I got them. I was asthmatic, had an asthma attack because I was so excited, and spent the rest of that Christmas in the hospital. But I had Star Wars to watch.
That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
It does. There's something, at least for me, and sounds like you and lots of people, that does bring you back to that childhood. But
yeah, absolutely. I have memories of making stop motion animation with my family's VHS shoulder mounted camcorder, when I was 6 or 7 years old. It's just weird little memories like that, things that you remember. But,
And Star Wars, I think, created a whole lot of kids that did those things.
Yeah, and a lot of them grew up to become filmmakers or sound engineers. Yeah, YouTube, goofy people on the internet making YouTube videos. Yep.
So what was it that led you to start a channel?
That's a good question. It's a kind of a mixture of absolute boredom and watching. I don't know if you're familiar with Angry Video Game Nerd. He's been around for probably since the creation of YouTube, and he's made these. He's been around for a long time. He's made these little stupid skits about old video games. He was a big inspiration for me.
Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah. His stuff is fun. And I think if you watch my early videos and then you watch some of his stuff, you'll see the influence for sure. And then also, the Blu-rays were coming out, and I've never been a big fan of the special editions, as most people know. So that combination of inspiration, boredom, and hey, they're still messing with my Star Wars led me to just put on a mask and start rambling online. But yeah.
So I want to ask a question that is not here.
Sure.
What is your thought on the now forever, Blade Runner has, the definitive, all of the different editions, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel about this final, most important edition of Star Wars, A New Hope, the McClunky edition?
Right. I've actually never sat down to watch it from start to finish.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't. And I think the reason that I haven't is because, and let me just say, when I did watch up until McClunky just because I wanted to see that. And when I saw it, I wasn't upset or anything. I'm just so burned out of the conversation,
Yeah.
I just kind of chuckled and I was like, all right, at least I have my original copies, whatever. But yeah, I haven't watched it from start to finish, and I think it's because if I'm going to sit down and watch Star Wars, I usually pop in either Project 4K 77 or Harmy's Despecialized Edition. So yeah, those two editions exist, and if I'm going to watch Star Wars, nothing else will bother me anymore, really. But yeah.
I live for McClunky. I think it is so hilarious. It is so 100% on brand for George.
Yeah.
And his final, like, F you. Yeah. And I think it's hilarious.
And I'm sure you know this, but like McClunky had been, before Disney acquired the franchise, he made that change. So like the McClunky edition had been sitting there for it's from 2012 to like, I don't know, whenever this was released, like 2018. So like for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I assume it was put in there in preparation for all those 3D releases.
Right.
Which I don't even remember when Phantom Menace came out. But originally, like, wasn't he going to re-release all 6 films? Which probably now would have led into 10, 11, or 7, 8, 9.
Sure.
Back then. But I think it's so hilarious. It is just dumb. And I feel like it's just too meta. And I love it. It cracks me up.
I hope he was sitting in his office every day, just waiting for this time bomb to go off, But
you're not going to get to me anymore, people.
Right? Exactly.
Take that to your what's that movie called? The State of George or whatever that George hating documentary thing.
The People versus George Lucas.
Yeah. Make a video about this. It cracks me up. Cracks me up. How has the fandom changed? Speaking of the People versus George Lucas, after 10 years, I know you talk about it on your channel from time to time. I love when maybe it was only one video when you pulled back all these headlines from like Empire and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
You talk about it in your book a little bit.
Yeah. You hear the same stuff over and over again. And it's weird. I would say the fandom really hasn't changed much. I think what's really changed is just kind of like everyone's access to the fandom and kind of, I call it like the digital monetization of outrage. I mean, you know this. There's so many YouTubers who just pump out 100 videos about Cara Dune, and you know what I mean, or an actress. And really, man, you're like 40 years old. What are you doing? Like, this is dude. You're putting all like 200 videos about an actress online. This is your time capsule for the rest of your life. This is your gravestone. Like, people remember this about you. It's so weird to me, man.
Yeah.
So that's how the fandom has really changed. It's like the loudest voices rise to the top. It's just this constant feeding of being upset about nothing, making money off of, people being upset about nothing. And meanwhile, I think the fandom really hasn't changed that much. It's just, I think the internet and social media has really changed it. But
yeah, I mean, I say that a lot. It's like I hear the same things. I just used to hear them in a comic book store.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you thought it was really small because it was the same, back then, especially 5 dudes usually that were sitting there saying it. And it was just about Jar Jar Binks and yippies. It was what everyone hated.
Right. Yeah. And if you ventured over to like the force.net and the forums and stuff like that from 99 to, I guess 2005 and probably still today, that's what I love to go back in time on those forums and kind of pull posts out and see people complaining about how like I don't know, there's weird stuff that's very, very comparable to today, like calling Ahsoka a Mary Sue and you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. It's just the parallels are insane. Complaining about Padme blasting away in the Phantom Menace, or where she didn't have any training. It's so dumb. And it's like, that's why I'm so desensitized to so much of this stuff, is because I've seen it for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
that's bonkers. Like, I didn't even like, oh my God, I think I just missed all the digital stuff to even really know how to use the internet, or I was so preoccupied back then it was my outlet to figure out what it meant to be a gay kid. So that's like where all of my focus went, I think, on the internet. And I don't even think I knew that stuff existed. I found but
now I'm not, innocent in all of this. I've complained about those movies a lot. But I never went to that. Like I never thought about that kind of thing. Like Padme running around with a blaster is somehow an assault on George Lucas trying to be some kind of like politically correct dude. You know what I mean? Like people read into these things so deep and make their own weird interpretations. I don't know.
That's the thing. I mean, the only YouTube videos that really get me are every video that I see my girl KK with red laser beams coming out of her eyes. I always know I'm going to get quality, well-researched content out of those YouTubes. So I usually click, and I do find a lot of very fascinating information.
It's great to follow that. It's such a good, useful, putting some time of that into your life. It's very, yeah.
I love what you said though. Like this is what these people are putting out there. Now, I get not everyone has kids. That's fine. Mm. But I do think about one day these people are going to have children and they will find it.
Or they're going to grow. Yeah, or they're going to grow up themselves and realize how much of a goofy person they were back in the day. I would be so embarrassed.
Yes.
Like, I'm already embarrassed of some of the earlier videos that I've made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So speaking of that, what are there things that you did? Because 10 years is a long time and you've transitioned into like another decade and now you're a father. So you've had like monumental like life changes and you've recorded all of it in a way, along the way. And are there things now looking back that you're like, oh gosh, I can't believe I said that?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like harsh or anything like that, but I would go, if I were to make my earlier videos, obviously I'm just a different person than I was when I was 25 years old. Right. So yeah, I would make them way different nowadays than I would have back then. And again, a lot of the earlier videos of mine were heavily influenced by Angry Video Game Nerd. He's always putting on a show. He's always mad about something, But yeah, absolutely. Not only with the channel, but just in life in general, I think anybody that says that they were crystal clean and absolutely perfect and never said any stupid crap 10 years ago is lying.
6 months ago, half the time.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, of course, man. Sometimes I'll like watch one of my earlier videos and I'm like, I would have said that way different nowadays. But
yeah, do you still go back and rewatch stuff?
It's been a couple years since I have, but yeah, I would say about 2 years ago, I went through like my entire changes videos and kind of like watched a little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and you live and learn.
Yeah, 100%. But it's also like, because one thing I feel that you're really good at, because you're a pretty opinionated person. You on Star Wars. I guess I don't know you as a person, but your channel, you're very opinionated on Star Wars. You don't shy away from how you feel about the films, the characters, or the people making content around it either.
Sure.
But you are never like, there are things that I like personally, like we don't see eye to eye, which is why one of the things I like, because I like to be challenged with those things. And you create a space where you can have a different opinion, but you're not turning off an audience.
Right.
And I think that is something I hope you're proud of, because I do think it's very hard to do.
And to tell you the truth, it's not intentional. It's just kind of how I am. Look, so the best man in my wedding, and I was the best man in his wedding as well. We could not be more different in the way we view the world. Okay. Like, we could not be more different. He's a Catholic. I'm just not a religious person whatsoever. But we're best friends. And like, how would I possibly get upset about somebody else having a different opinion of Star Wars than me? You know what I mean? On the internet. Like, I think that it's just a reflection of the vibe of my live streams or stuff like that. But there's usually no arguments in the chats. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely am proud of it for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Like I can only speak to that now because I am making things, I don't think I would have noticed for sure, but I don't think I would have understood how hard it actually is to be that authentic because I think that's where it probably comes from. I feel like it's very easy to watch what you say, especially these days, because you can get picked apart for everything all the time. Sometimes it's rightly understood and should be that way, but sometimes
it's an overreaction.
Yeah, and it's coming from a place of malice against someone to take something away. Instead of adding to someone, I think a lot of people on the internet try to take away something from you.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
I'm like, you know, it's just, it's something, again, I was never really super involved in the internet. Facebook a little bit, and like all I really do Facebook for is to put pictures to say, hey, 2 years ago you got this, this happened, and then whatever, Instagram, and you know, it's usually like half naked dudes and comic book drawings. That's like what my Instagram looks like. But I even got rid of that once this started. I just deleted my own personal Instagram because it's like I think you've been talking about either in the book or live streams a lot about you distancing yourself a little bit from social media. Yeah. But I found it was too much. Like, I don't need to look at any of this stuff anymore. Yeah.
It's such a time suck. And like there's some people that I follow on Twitter and I've even met in real life and, you know, love them to death. And I agree with everything they say. But man, like when you spend, I can't even calculate how many hours somebody spends, like some of these people spend on Twitter. I'm like, come on, man, like take a step back. You're never going to change these people's mind. You know, you're just arguing with a brick wall.
Yep.
I don't have that in me. And I think that's why, like, if you see me post something on Twitter, it's usually dumb. It's usually something really dumb. And then I just walk away. But like, yeah, I really, I'm not a fan of social media. I feel like when it first started, it was cool. You know, oh, look, Joey's floating down the Ichituckney in a tube having a beer. Oh, I'm going to like that. It's really neat. Yep. Now it's just like, you see the craziest stuff. I mean, like Joe Biden's wife killed his first wife. What are you talking about? Like, that's the kind of stuff you see on Facebook now. And I'm like, so basically I'm running away.
it's, and you know, if you're trying to do something, I mean, all of us make a YouTube channel or a podcast because we want people to listen or watch to a point at least, you know? So it's like somewhat of a necessary evil, but I have found myself a lot less than I used to. And I try to schedule stuff just because, like I said, I hopped in during when we first started this and we launched it, you know, before The Rise of Skywalker. I have lots of feelings about The Rise of Skywalker, like many people do. But one of my favorite things about it was Rey Skywalker at the end. Like it spoke to me on so many levels a lot. And I'm very grateful for that. Right. And so I went to the internet. I was like, oh my God, like, and shared, you know, some of my things of being a gay dude who at that time had been with my husband for like 12 years. When we first got together, there was no way in the world we would ever be able to get married. It wasn't reality. It wasn't even dreamable back then. And then all of a sudden I took his name, and then we adopted children who took his name too. So like the idea of a new last name carries a lot of weight for me personally. Right. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then just the bombardment of attacks. I'm like, oh, and you mentioned earlier your best friend is Catholic. My husband is Irish Catholic through and through as well. And I also am not religious. Yeah. But I have found myself in my life enjoying people who are different than me because I like those conversations. I'm not one to shy away from religion and politics.
I love it. I love talking about that stuff, man.
Same.
It's like when I was in the Navy on a 6-month deployment, that's all we talked about. Like, we had cigars sitting on the back of the ship and we just talk about all that stuff, all the taboo topics, you know, but I'm the same way, man. Yeah.
I think I've never felt the need to make someone feel the way I do. I've never felt the need for them. And maybe I'm cocky enough. Maybe it's being having a Napoleon complex or something. I'm not going to let someone tell me how to change either. But if you don't open yourself up to a conversation, how in the world are you ever going to change?
Right.
Like, and the most progressive of people, fast forward, and maybe some of this is my age now too, but like what was progressive when I was 22 versus me now at almost 42 are outdated. So I don't care how progressive you are right now, or even how conservative you are right now, because when the future goes, it either won't be conservative enough or, you know, like how crazy were you to think X, Y, or Z?
Right.
So I love having those. I think they're important conversations to have.
Absolutely.
Just as human growth, to understand how another human might think, and to go, okay, I can see how you got to this.
Absolutely.
Your life experience brought you there. That's pretty, okay, that's interesting.
And these types of forums are perfect for it. I would say that Twitter is not. I think anybody that's attempting to do that, have that conversation on Twitter, is wasting their time.
I have learned that now. And that, like, oh God, it is just a mystery wrapped in a riddle to me of why you want to do it. Like, we're pretty lucky. I haven't gotten a lot of garbage. I was nervous about it at the beginning because, you know, we still face a lot of discrimination in this community. Sure. It only has ever happened on YouTube. Really? Sometimes in the comments when I post a podcast or now in the live streams.
Interesting.
Like, there's stuff in the like, not a ton. I mean, our YouTube doesn't get a lot of attention anyways, but like, I'm like, really? Okay. I don't delete it. I'm like, if that's how you want to represent yourself, then I'm here. I'm fine.
I'm exactly. Yeah. I don't delete anything either. Like I'm the same way. And I've never, like, if you look at my block list on Twitter, I've never blocked a single person in the 7 years that I've had a Twitter. Like I just don't really care.
Yep. I have a lot of, that's interesting because I feel the same way. I don't block and I don't mute. I can unfollow, but I feel, and it's something that I believe Star Wars has taught me, if anything. I think about like the cantina scene is one of those things that just, to me, when I looked back and I remember looking at it as a kid, all of those different aliens, all of those different cultures that have to be attached to those aliens, all of the religions that have to be attached with that alien race or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, but they all sat there and drank together. I think about that when I we used to go into a gay bar or a gay club. Maybe it's because I'm queer that sometimes I think some of these things are different because we were shunned by so many anyways, that normal things that would segregate someone just didn't matter anymore. Sure. Because we only had each other. Right. You know, in college when I'd go to more straight bars or whatever, I felt it was every bar had a very homogenized look to it. You know, you went to this place for that, and maybe it's different now. That was a long time ago, but gay bars looked more like the Mos Eisley Cantina to me. It was just a much more diverse crowd within that crowd. And so it was interesting. Sense. Maybe that's part of what got me there. I don't know.
Right. But now every bar just has Edison bulbs and exposed brick.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Now they're all the same.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my God, I haven't been inside a bar in I don't know how long. But I don't block people because at the end of the day, I would like to believe I'm not willing to give up my belief on people. Yeah. And if I block you, then I'm never going to. I worry like younger kids these days that block and block and block, and they're not. I have seen, like I said, we said at the beginning of this. Like we just did a Rebels. Let me use that for an example. We just talked about Rebels. And when Rebels first started, I couldn't get married. I couldn't adopt children. I couldn't do those things. And Star Wars Rebels is so much about found family. Right. And to think now that the show is done, but all of these things can happen. And if you're a young person on Twitter or even an older person on Twitter and are so busy blocking everyone, you're ruining yourself from the opportunity that maybe just one person changed. Maybe one person's going to reach back out to you and say, you know what? I never thought about X this way. And I think I might have shifted a little bit because of a tweet you sent or whatever it might be. And that can be really rewarding. And, you know, but if you feel the need to block, then there's no place for the, you know, to judge that either. Sure. But for me, I just, no. And I'm not going to give you the power that I'm going to let you get to me that way anyways.
Absolutely. Like, fine. Absolutely. I think that's a big part of it too. I'm not going to make you think I care.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's crazy. You talk a lot about that in your book. So what prompted you to write a book? What a horrible segue, but that's what we're going to do.
No. I have no idea, honestly. I mean, it just kind of a happy accident, you know, just started writing down some random ideas that I thought were going to turn into a video. Okay. And it was longer, and I was like, yeah, there's really no place for me talking about some of this stuff in a video. It just doesn't fit with my channel. Mm-hmm. Looking back, that's wrong because I make all sorts of different types of videos now. But yeah, so it was kind of a happy accident. I started writing it in between a couple classes when I was in college. Yeah, I think you have a copy. It's all over the place.
Yep. It's great.
It's all right.
No, I love it. I really do. I love that it's all over the place. Cause it's you. It just very much sounds like you, if that makes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Like, and looking at it and your channel too, like what is your background? Because I think about like the picture on the front of it. I'm a graphic designer by day. So like I look at the typeface and it's all laid out really, really well.
Thanks, man.
And your channel always looks really great. So I'm curious like what your background is.
Yeah. So for the past, I would just say 10 years on and off, I've been doing freelance graphic design and like photography and stuff like that. So I've made a few local commercials and websites. And so, yeah, that's basically been HelloGreedo has always been like about 25% of my overall, I guess, income, if you want to say it, or what I do. The rest of it has been kind of freelance gigs. So, yeah, graphic design a lot.
Has stuff come out of your channel not related to Star Wars?
What do you mean? Like
have people approached you because of what you did, either with your book or with your channel, that somehow they found out that you can do all these things?
Yeah, that's actually how I got one of my, I used to work for a company and they hired me because they found out about my channel. They hired me for something else. And then they found out about my channel. And then they hired me on as their like videographer, photographer, and web designer. So like, yeah, it just kind of worked out that way. And I worked for them for a couple of years.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's led into a few other things here and there. Yeah.
Like that is the amazing stuff with social media that it can do.
Yeah.
If you can navigate through the garbage, there is good things in there. I mean, I think about, have you met people that were either fans of your channel or through social media that like you don't think you would have met otherwise?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially other YouTubers and whatnot, that goes without saying, but yeah, I've met, some people out in LA when I was out there for, EA Play. I've met some people at like a theater, just kind of like, you know, a handshake and a nice to meet you. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Keeping in touch with some other YouTubers and stuff like that's been really cool. And whenever we all have a chance to get together, I love it. Usually have a few beers and just hang out. But,
is it usually like the video game thing you just said? I don't know anything about video games. So yeah. Or like Star Wars Celebration. Have you been to those?
I've only been to one celebration for one day.
Okay.
It's, it's hard for me to explain, but I kind of like my fandom a little small and close to my chest, and going to a celebration, as fun as it is, it's not like something that I really need to do. But I enjoyed it for the day that I went, and I met a couple other YouTubers there. That was in 2017. Awesome. But yeah, EA Play and those EA events are a blast because we're there for like 3 or 4 days. We're getting to play a bunch of Star Wars games that are coming out and hanging out at night. And yeah, it's a good time, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you just said you like to keep Star Wars close to your vest.
Mhm.
So it was something that I would imagine you feel the same way. A lot of things that you couldn't have anticipated, I would imagine, came along with doing a YouTube channel. There's things that people I met, the kinds of messages that I get from doing a podcast, or like honest to God, some of it's life changing. You're like, oh, whoa. Yeah. Like, and it's been interesting needing to learn to share Star Wars, even with my kids. So 2 of them, not so much. My oldest is 11 teen, so like now he's at the age where, because dad likes it, like there's no way I can think it's cool. I also think I tried too hard. Like when Jack came, we got a phone call at 3:30 in the afternoon, said, hey, there's a 7-year-old kid on an airplane and he has nowhere to go. Would you be willing to adopt him? And we said yes. And at 8:30 we were parents.
That's crazy.
Like, it is the most change I've ever experienced. Like literally nothing was ever the same again. Now, every time you have another child, it's always that way. But like that is the only time that it was. And it was, we had no time to process anything. I remember Tom and we're best friends. Like we don't have a huge social circle. Like he is my best friend. He is my person. That's who I spend all of my time with. Right. Yeah. And we talk and we can talk a lot. And I remember we sat there for like 10 minutes. We had to buy a bed. We had to do all this stuff because the process was supposed to take months. And they're like, don't buy anything, build a room together so you can bond with this child and all these things. Right. So we didn't have any of that. Like, I don't know. I didn't have a child, like I said. So we didn't know how old they were going to be. We didn't know anything. So it was just very random. So I went and bought Ninja Turtles and Star Wars toys because I don't know anything else. and I remember like the 5 minutes before 5-10 minutes, and Tom and I just sat in our living room. And
I'm like nervous for you right now, just hearing this story. Like
it was a very weird experience that I like no one, unless you, I think, been through it, can even really understand. Because I'm not like, I don't even fully understand what it all went through.
How did the process? I don't want to get too deep into it with you, but I don't know how much you want to share. But how was it such a quick process? Because I do have some friends who adopted, and it was a long, super long process. Yep. How was that so quick?
So I am very open. Honestly, it was like part of why we started a podcast. Like I said, Tom and I have been together for almost 14 years now. So a good chunk of it, we couldn't do any of these things, right? And I specifically remember a moment. I was 35 and I'd always wanted kids. And Tom and I, it was one of the early on, and he was like, oh, maybe. But to him, he's like, well, I'm going to say yes because it's not going to happen anyway. So of course, sure. Right. But, and then I let it go because it was just really depressing, thinking I can never do this. And a few people had offered to carry a child for us. And that was just something that wasn't for me. I felt I am gay. I am not supposed to biologically reproduce. And my background in school is anthropology, and I studied evolution. And a lot of my mind thinking, the way I would think is, we're a community animal, and this is how I can help a community is to take someone, take another child, not take another, what I'm trying to say. So I let all that go. And then 2-3 months later, all of a sudden gay marriage passed and the world kind of changed. And then a few months after that, our governor, because it was still illegal in most states for same-sex couples to adopt, and our governor said, no, if they can get married, you can no longer use marriage. That was the only thing that you were discriminating against people for, is because they would only adopt married couples a lot of places. So he's like, you can't do that anymore. So all of a sudden, that was in August, and in January we signed up for to go through adoption like classes, foster training classes and all that. So we did that, and then it took a long time. And what happened with our son, it was just he was in the system for a long time and just had nowhere to go. And then he was going to be adopted. And so they sent him somewhere else. And then those people kicked him out, basically. Oh, wow. So he came and he was out of state. So they were flying him back here and he just had nowhere to go. So they wanted to place him somewhere that would adopt him eventually. Like, cause you don't, at least here in Arizona, and it's most that way. If you adopt through the state, your foster parents, you have to have a foster license and all that. Mm-hmm. So he just had nowhere to go, which is why it kind of ended up like that. And, which was great. And Michael, our second child, was more the traditional route. Okay. Which is really weird. Like, it's weird to like, you get papers and if you have friends, I'm sure they have this experience, and then you just get like a bio about this child and basically what brought them into care. And this is the trauma that they exhibit. And it is a very weird experience to go through. Yeah. But anyway, so then Michael came, but we saw his picture and everything. And then we met 2 or 3 times. And even that was sped up because they were like, he did not do well after. So usually what they like to do is you'll meet them, make sure you have to go through, and you're competing in quotes with other families. Sometimes it's like the whole process is strange. And then so if the state picks you, then you meet them, right? And then you basically have to say after one meeting, like, and you pretty much have to say yes before they'll even let you meet a child, which makes sense because, you know, these kids have been in far too many places as it is. So we met him, and then we had Jack meet him, and then they were we met one more time, and then there was an overnight, and they're supposed to do that and then basically transition so they aren't jarred into this new life. He did not do well, and he wanted to stay here. So the next week we just took him. And then he's been here ever since. But then Eli was kind of the same way. He was going to be adopted, and then someone kicked him out. And so he had nowhere to go. So we got a call for Eli like on a Wednesday night at like 9:30, 10 p.m. saying, hey, there is a 6-year-old and he has nowhere to go. And then Friday morning he was there. And then, yeah,
that's amazing.
And that kind of stuff, you know, now there's also 2 kids, you know, and it's just, it's interesting. And
yeah, well, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but I think it's one of the most noble things that a human being can do for another human being, or a human being for a society as a whole. Yeah. I think it's incredibly admirable. And there's no way I'm the only person that's ever told you that. No. So,
but the truth is, they have made us better. Like, we are the lucky ones. They are 3 really, really, really amazing kids, and I don't have a day that I go by and not thank my lucky stars, because I just can't believe this life that I have a wonderful person that I couldn't have ever dreamed that actually existed, how great they are. And now I have these 3 kids, and, you know, I wasn't allowed this life most of my life, and now I have it. And it's not a day goes by that I'm not grateful.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I feel very honored. I feel very, very honored. Yeah. So your wife, is she a Star Wars fan?
She is. Obviously nowhere on the level that I am, you know. She hasn't watched The Mandalorian yet.
What?
Yeah. Well, that's completely my fault, because I would wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, make a video, you know, and so I blame myself. And I keep saying, like, let's watch The Mandalorian tonight. Yeah. And she'll say, but you've already seen it. She likes to watch stuff that neither of us have seen, you know.
I'm there.
But I'm like, I want to watch it again. I don't mind watching it again. So she is.
I keep hearing so much better spouses than me, because I too didn't always intend on it, but I was up at 3:30. Like, we're early risers anyways. Like,
yeah, I am too. Yeah.
4:35 is kind of when we're up. Mm-hmm. But 3:30 would roll around and I was wide awake. But I, however, am far too selfish and would wake Tom up. And so he was also going to get up at 3:30 in the morning to watch. So I had no respect for that business. But more people are like, I didn't want to wake my spouse up. And
yeah, I would like it. Honestly, if it wasn't for the channel, I would have watched it, at night with her. I'm never going to do that again. I don't feel that pressure now to need to wake up that early to make a video,
Yeah.
I can wait a couple days to make something. I don't know why I did that, but
it sits better. I was just talking to another podcaster, Alden Diaz from Out HelloGreedo, and he doesn't like to do immediate responses anyways. More like he likes to sit and contemplate it before he responds to it.
That's the absolute best way to go about it. No question about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we would always talk about him on Sundays is typically when Tom and I record. And we did like Friday night live streams with them and responded that night. And I'm kind of with you. Like there's an excitement. Like I don't think I've ever been so excited before Cobb Vanth came. And it hit me very hard. Like I wasn't necessarily a huge Mando fan when it first.
Yeah, me either.
I was like, it's good.
Yeah.
And then the months later, I really just started liking it. And I was like, it hit me on other levels. And I was like, I just started identifying to it as a gay dude and a coming out process. And I watched Din Djarin and he is coming out as a person. And so there's a lot of coding and that's the only way. And now I really, it is up there with some of the best Star Wars. And especially after that first season of season 2. Because I am convinced that Din Djarin is queer and they're going to have space babies. Like there's so much to that episode.
Right.
And
have you talked about this before? I'm sure on your podcast. I've never. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you a DM. I want to hear you talk about this. Yeah. I've never heard that interpretation. That's interesting.
It's, I don't know if you know Blue Bantha milk.
Yes. Yeah.
So I did a video with Sean, who, congratulations, Sean, you just had your first baby.
I saw that.
We did a video on fatherhood. And so he was preparing to be a dad. And we talked about Mando and how that was one of the things I did with that too, which was a really cool video. I was very nervous and I don't like the way it sounded in this video, but whatever. It was good. But I think about so that show, I saw that, and one of the first things that hit me was, we meet Peli Amato, right? Who everyone loves Peli because she's amazing. And Din, by that point, season 1, he's just giving the baby off to everybody all the time because he's like, I don't know how to do this. Right. And he wouldn't give her the child, even though there was already an established relationship there. But he was willing to give the kid to Cobb if he didn't make it. I was like, oh my God, I think he's in love with this person because he's going to trust his child with this person. And then there was in the second episode, I don't know, everyone remembers because it was adorable, but when that one bounty hunter tries to kidnap Grogu and, Din blows him up or whatever, and he does that little jog across the ground to hold him. It was really, really emotional for me because in that moment I heard him say dad, in a way. That was his Grogu has said, you're my daddy now. And I think about, and it just, that show and Din Djarin in that moment became just an incredibly important character. And I was like, most people, the average person, when they have children, their mom or dad right away. That's just what they are. And I can remember when my children started calling me dad. It went from a first name basis to dad. And it's, not that we've ever cared or put stipulations on what you call us because it doesn't make any difference. But when you are called dad the first time in our situation, it's because we earned it. Right. And that moment just has really stuck with me very, very much. And it's incredibly emotional when I think about it.
Right. I love that. Wow, that's interesting. I
can't not see that show this way anymore.
Right.
Impossible. But I loved it. And so I love it for that. So when early on, so you seem very cool. I feel like we're probably pretty popular in high school and you're a cool dude. and so maybe you don't show those cards very quickly. When did your wife find out that
About
you were a Star Wars
stuff?
fan? Yes.
Oh, immediately. Yeah. I've never cared. I've never cared whatsoever. Like, about if somebody, yeah, man, I like Star Wars, whatever. Yeah. I have a full suit of Stormtrooper armor. You know what I mean? Like, I've never once cared.
Did you have that armor before you met her?
No. We've been dating since 2008 or together since 2008. So I put it together in like 2013.
Okay.
But no, even back in high school and stuff like that, I never cared what people, I'm not going to hide the things that I'm into,
Good for you.
But
because I love talking about that when I have other people who are in a couple or married, because more often than not, one is really into it and one is not.
Yeah.
That was like that when we started our podcast. That's what I thought was going to be the catchy thing, was that Tom was forced to listen. And then it did not turn into that. It turned into kind of sharing our journey.
Right.
And how we explore that through Star Wars is now really what we are kind of about. So one thing that has come from the podcast that I never would have imagined before was how important representation is. And we've talked about that on this show, and I've been very open that I didn't even understand how important it was. Parts of it are shows like Mandalorian, like I was saying. I also, not only do I see him as an adoptive father, but with a child who, for all intents and purposes, it was in a foster system and has trauma and came from very violent backgrounds. That all speaks to my life. But it's also an interracial family, and that speaks to me. There's just so many layers to that show. But now as a parent, I need and want my children to see families that look more like ours.
Right.
And I didn't feel it that way before, but since we started the show, so many people are very open about how important representation is. And I don't know why I didn't feel it was before. Not that I didn't feel it was important. I just never thought about it really before, to be totally honest.
Well,
but
me neither. Honestly, I'm kind of with you there. I mean, I think that just goes with that. I think that honestly just comes with the lack of exposure. Do you know what I mean? I can't really articulate things right now very well. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but what does it mean for you? Because it is becoming part of general conversation in media, and in talking about Star Wars and stuff like that. If you're remotely in the Star Wars space, especially this last few years, you can't help but hear calls for representation.
Right.
So curious what it means to the people that come on the show. I like asking this question because it's always very different from everybody. And I like to hear these.
Sure. And I haven't really thought about it too deep, but I think, the media that we all consume, especially Star Wars, which is such, it covers such a vast range of not only internally in the universe, different, creatures and races and whatnot and stuff like that, but also you want your fandom or the world to kind of reflect this, the world that you're building internally in Star Wars itself. I think it's kind of beautiful to see this big diversification of human beings, but and we can talk about creatures too, like The Rock. Kind of love The Rock, Geode or whatever it's called. I don't understand why that's a big deal. I don't understand why a lot of things are a big deal, man, that people complain about. But no, I think it's great. When you can see yourself in a character or in a culture, in a show, it's not only, it's probably good for, it's obviously good for people who are trying to get into the show or the movie or the franchise, but representation is, I can't imagine that it hurts the business either. You know what I mean? You want more people to watch your thing. So have a little more diversification and representation in your show or your media. I don't understand the flip side of people being upset about it. It's, something we could talk about, but It's so weird to me. It's like some of the people, it's like a lose-lose for them. It's like they're going to complain about it either way. Yep. If they like the material, they're not going to complain about it. If they don't like the material, they're going to say you should have hired a more qualified director to do it other than the person that they pick. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they tried to fit a quota. I don't understand. It's like a lose-lose for some people.
100%. And that can truthfully and sadly kind of run on both sides too. I think sometimes
sure.
People can be hypercritical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, I wish, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's also becoming more lucrative.
Let's face. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's probably a huge. And there, it's kind of like the one. Normally, like lucrative endeavors kind of come with an evil twist.
Yep.
But it's not. You know what I mean? Like, more different types of people in Star Wars media. Cool, man. And it's more lucrative. 2 thumbs up.
Exactly. And like I wish that maybe someone wanted to just put someone in there, but that's not always the case. And if that's the only way I'm going to get it, then it's going to eventually change.
I kind of think it was, well, to me at least, it seems like maybe it was the decision before the realization of it maybe being bringing more people and maybe being more profitable because. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. But I don't think it's the only, I think it was inevitable.
We're growing as that is something that social media has brought out, before, it was so easy to erase things from society. I mean, you can talk about it right in the Star Wars galaxy. I mean, look, it was 18, 19 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And they've already eradicated the idea of the Jedi. They've become like, were they ever even really real? Like you can erase history so easily, and minority groups get erased a lot. I don't know. That was one of the things, not that we're a Marvel podcast, but they started, they're doing right now with current shows it's really interesting. And I guess like, I'm happy if marketing is the only reason it's going to get there in the first place. I wish that wasn't the case, but at least it's there. Because it will no longer, that money pit's going to dry out eventually, but it will be the new norm that is there. I think about, even from just like a queer perspective, not even for myself, but I know like my kids love Fresh Off the Boat. So we watch that show a lot. And one of the teenagers came out in the show as a lesbian, and they didn't understand what coming out was. And they're young, and maybe not every family has to have that conversation, but we do. They hear, why do you have 2 dads on the playground? They hear those things, and it's not always from like a mean place, especially with kids. It's just a question. And so as a parent, I like having those conversations because their parents did have to come out. I see, I think about, just earlier this week, I was very, very proud because there was, I think it was Fresh Off the Boat. I don't even remember what show we were watching, but there was a character who was getting some not very nice things said about them because of the way they looked. And our son, Michael, the youngest, was like, why does it matter? I have darker skin than all of you, but that doesn't make me any less of this family. It just doesn't matter. And I was like, I'm so happy that that's there.
Do you feel that? All the kids, I love this up and coming generation. It's the most, I'm sure our generations, this generation is the most empathetic, understanding, like, generation that I've ever been a part or like seen. And I'm so hopeful for the future because of them. They're like fierce and fighters, and I feel like they're just gonna. Yeah, I feel like every generation before has just kind of screwed them over, and they're mad.
I mean, something as simple as I watch my oldest son at the park with some of his buddies, and they'll put their arms around each other's shoulders and just hang out.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, even some of that toxic masculinity garbage might start to go away. Like a dude can actually show emotion. And that's something we talk about a lot too, because especially like for me, like it was something I had a really, really, really hard time overcoming. And it's interesting that I can think my last year of college, I signed up for like the last few months, I signed up for the police academy, and I was going to become a police officer. And I eventually wanted to get into forensics, which is, but I signed up and I went through, I qualified and got in and all those things. And I went into for a few classes. And at that time I was 25 and I was like, I can't do this right now. I might come back someday. But I realized for me, part of why I was there was to prove that I could be a gay guy and be considered masculine by the masses. And I was like, this is not the right way.
Right. Interesting.
And I had to be really honest with myself of why I wanted to, and I did think maybe I'd go back. Sometimes I think about that, not that I would go back now, I'm too old now, but like I could have, but that just wasn't the right mentality to go in for. I had to do some inner work myself because clearly I was not very confident and didn't feel okay with things that I thought I did.
Right. That's really interesting. Well, like talking about younger generations, even in my class, some of the instructors are, retired firefighters and they'll make some jokes that, you might have heard 20 years ago. And some of the 18-year-old kids and stuff like that, and nobody's laughing. And it's just seeing that parallel of what used to be and now. And these are like tough kids. These are 18-year-old, like gym rats. They're going to be saving people from burning boats and stuff, but they're not laughing. It's really neat. It's really neat.
I agree. This younger generation, I'm so excited because I just think empathy is something to be celebrated now. And when we were growing up, I think it was like the thing to make fun of someone for. And it's just a full on like 180, we were a generation of Han Solos and now we're becoming a generation of Luke Skywalkers. It's really amazing. Which is great. And I'm really happy. And I agree with like for my kids. And I think, I just, and I'm very grateful, at least at this stage, my kids are confident enough to embrace the things that come their way. They've got a lot of stuff stacked in front of them that makes them a little more unique to a lot of the other kids, but they handle it pretty well. And there's a lot of other kids who question without judgment, but just question from a curiosity standpoint. And I'm just, I agree. I'm really, really happy. But I do think it's seeing things on TV. It's important.
Sure.
It's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to recognize like, a kid who's just, and not confusing like malice with just simple questions too, a simple question from a child is not coming from a place of like, malice. So it's
sometimes even adults. That's something. That's something that social media is taking away. Nuance. We all talk about, and there's no nuance in social media. No, but I also think I listen sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God! But there can be nuance in real conversation,
right?
But that's starting to get lost sometimes. I think from time to time. I was just talking to my dad, and I'm pretty lucky. My parents have been, really supportive. For almost the entire time. Like I have been out more the majority of my life now. I came out when I was 18. So like that's what my parents know. But even my dad, and it's been interesting this last few years, I think there's been a louder vocal group that has always existed It's just been more okay to talk loud about certain kinds of things that weren't allowed to be talked about before.
I wonder what the common denominator is there.
Like, I mean, I'm here for it. I think it's like and it is not popular to say that, but to me, that loud mouth is going to push someone who would have been silent to saying, I can't be silent because I don't want to be seen as that.
Right.
So I think there's a good side of it.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's not easy to hear it, but anyways, even my father, who like is pretty supportive, we were talking, and gay marriage has all of a sudden become a debate again. And I'm like, well, which I don't even like that term, but that's whatever. And he's like, well, I just don't understand why gay people have to rub it in people's faces. And it took me a minute. I'm like, you are in my house. Right. Like, let's just be clear. I love you, Dad. But, and I had to take a beat, right? To like, I'm like, so can I ask you what you mean by that, Dad? And he's like, well, I don't understand why they have to rub it in people's faces. I said, again, what do you mean? Like, give me an example. Well, I don't know, like this or that. And I'm like, okay, well, I can tell you that a minority person feels more uncomfortable than you do.
Right.
And just so you're aware, rubbing it in people's faces is like if Tom pulled out the driveway at home and I gave him a kiss goodbye as he was going out to work. Or I gave him a kiss because I picked him up to the airport. To those people, people, that's rubbing it in people's faces. So I'm like, Dad, I don't think that's what you mean.
Right.
He's like, well, that's not rubbing in people's faces. I'm like, but you didn't even have an example. But you're going to turn on the news, you're going to turn on the radio, and you're going to hear that.
That's exactly
and lots of people hear it.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. I've encountered so many. I mean, love my grandpa to death. I've had that similar conversations where there is a parroted phrase or something like that when you ask somebody to explain, they can't really explain. But yeah. I mean,
that's why I think it's important to not block. Like I may have shared this story on the podcast before. So if you're listening and you've heard it twice, I apologize. But years ago, during 2008-ish, I was victim to everything that happened. I lost everything. It was a very, very difficult time. I was luckily very young, but I was very proud of myself. I had put myself through college all on my own, and I had bought my second house by the time I was 25. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like rocking it. Right. And I was really proud, and then everything got lost, and it was a gigantic blow, but we've all moved on. And I went to this thing that never in a million years would I have ever thought I would have done, but it wasn't of those like self-care meetings where you sat in the dark and you're like, talking to random strangers. And I was like, well, I got to figure something out because this is hard. And I am not that person. I am more that person today than I used to be. But I remember sitting in that room and there was probably 200 people, and it was like all different kinds of people. Right. And so there was an open mic moment, and I got up there out of nowhere. And this is like, I can talk on a microphone or on a YouTube thing because it's like my house. So I feel very comfortable, but I am like a wallflower and like not out like that in the real world. Right.
Yeah.
But I got to this mic and it was just shared how I lost everything and I put too much pressure on myself as a gay person that I was going to prove to the world that I could do everything everybody else could. But I lost it. And it hit me really like it was hard because I think all of these other things that I didn't process the right way came with it. And I remember at the end of it, huge dudes that you would never in a million years think would be remotely supportive came up to me with tears in their eyes saying, I used to call people faggots and I used to do those kinds of things. And I've never heard someone share that. And I can't believe I was one of those people. Right. You helped me. And I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, this is why you talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is why you do those things. And I think about people, and I remember that a lot when I hear things. I'm like, but people can change. I'm not excusing behavior before,
Right.
But if I didn't stand up there and say those things, I could have felt that no one would ever change because I'd just been beaten down my whole life that people won't.
Right.
But here I am, and people did. Now, do I know they went home and really changed their tune? I don't know. But in that moment, they did.
Right. And I guarantee they thought about it for the rest of their lives. Yep. I mean, little things, stories like that. I mean, I still think about things that people have told me over the years. Just like, I mean, I always go back to kind of the Navy, but some of the best conversations I've ever had were on a boat with guys with the most diverse opinions and backgrounds you could ever imagine. And like we would have conversations, whether it be about gay marriage or something like that. And I've never divulged my political leanings or anything, but I will say that I'm left center, and so oftentimes my opinions were like so out of bounds with a lot of these dudes, and I would have to explain myself. And even my brother-in-law used to be one way, and now he's done a complete 180. And it's the more you talk, without distraction, no yelling, we all have more in common than we don't, but you can come at things from different perspectives, and minds change and hard edges round. And it's I miss that. I'm excited for that with the fire department too, like just conversations.
You were mentioning something about that on a stream recently, I remember. But like I would imagine being in the Navy or the military, it's going to bring in so many different kinds of people from all sorts of different places.
Oh yeah.
That would be impossible to not change.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's by far the most diverse place I've ever worked, in every aspect. And it will change you for the better. I don't, I've never met anybody who is, it's weird, man. Like people, they think about in the military, they think of some guy with like a Punisher skull shirt. Like nobody's like that in the real military. Those are LARPers, man. Like, but yeah, it was great. And, good example of kind of like a cultural blender, everybody coming together, common good and understanding. And yeah, I recommend it.
I love that you share those stories. And again, thank you for your service. We need people like you.
It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time now.
So as we wrap up here, as a father, how do you want Star Wars to play a role for your daughter? Or if you have more kids in the future, who knows? But
sure. Yeah.
How do you want Star Wars to affect / influence? What do you want them to take away from it?
Man, that's a good question. First of all, I'm not gonna like push her to like it and stuff like that. I'm not gonna. I mean, I bought her Chewbacca toys and I've bought her some stuff, but like, I'm most excited to sit down and show her the movies, and if she likes them, cool. If she doesn't, cool. I hope that it's something that we can bond over. And I hope that it's something that like she can see my excitement for the new movies and shows on the horizon. And she can maybe like get excited with me. That's kind of in a perfect world. We all know how kids are with the things that their parents like. That's why like, and again, I apologize for my voice, everybody, but that's why I'm never going to like shove it in her face or like sit down, we're gonna watch the latest episode of Rebels.
Definitely don't, because I did that with my first child, and I think I blew that.
That's like the opposite of a football dad. It's like
yep.
But yeah, so I kind of hope, I have all sorts of interests and whatnot, and I hope that she shows interest in them too. But it's way more important for me to show interest in her interests than her show interest in the goofy stuff that I'm into, So like Star Wars is always going to be there. If she wants to come over, go for it. But if she doesn't, cool. We can watch whatever you want to watch.
Man, what a good dad answer. That's so awesome. Yeah, awesome. That's really great.
But, and I just generationally too, like there's no question in my mind that whatever new Star Wars is going to be around when she is at the age to watch it, that's going to be her favorite Star Wars, Yep. So like, yeah, she doesn't have to like what I like either, even in the realm of Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Like I said, Michael's like a legit super fan. Like he really likes it, but it's all about Captain Phasma and Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And actually I'm afraid because he only likes the villains. I never hear him.
They're cool, man. They're cool.
Like he loves Captain Phasma. Like I all the time dresses up like Captain Phasma. He's got his little towel around one shoulder.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But that's all he talks about. And now I guess Mando. Like he loves Din Djarin and he's got his little baby Yoda. And I try not to push it too hard. He did get me to watch Resistance or a lot of it because that was not necessarily for me. Mm-hmm. But I was really excited to have him because I don't think I would have watched it otherwise. I would have given it a try.
Yeah.
And would have been like, I don't know.
Right.
But I watched it with him because he was really, really into it.
Yeah.
So it was really
like the same thing. Like it might have been before we started recording, but like I watched my daughter's face on all those Disney rides. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be watching Star Wars. I'm going to be watching my daughter's face when she watches them, But like, it's cool, man. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what she's into.
I don't know. I don't know if you're emotional like I am, but let me tell you, nothing really gets me emotional other than Star Wars. Like but I can tell you, I will think back, and I've shared this a lot again, listeners, so I'm sorry, but at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, again, never thinking I would be able to share Star Wars with my own kids. And here's Rey Skywalker saying my name is Rey Skywalker. And I was a bumbling fool anyway. So I had like my kids holding my hand and being like really sweet and caring. And then Eli, who was not adopted yet, but we knew it was coming. I was just like, oh my God, like that moment will never be taken away from me. I was just like, this is pretty damn cool.
That's awesome.
This is pretty damn cool.
Wow.
So speaking of families, and I've been doing this with everyone on because after 2020 and no one's seeing each other and the cesspool that can be Twitter, which we've talked about a little bit on here, we need some positivity in this world. So we are now calling it the pink milk mantra, but we have the berry mantra that we say every night at dinner in our family. We sit around our little table and go over and say, we are berries, we support each other, we have fun, and today I'm grateful for. Every night. So here on Pink Milk, we are Star Wars fans, we support each other, we have fun, and today I'm grateful for. So I'd like you to repeat the mantra.
Okay, I have a bad memory. I have a bad short-term memory. So
and I also love watching people squirm.
Yeah. As you can tell, I got a horrible voice right now, and I'm not good at thinking on my toes. So,
okay, we are Star Wars fans.
We are Star Wars fans.
We support each other.
We support each other.
We have fun.
We have fun.
And today I'm grateful for.
And today specifically today, I'm grateful for my wife right now because she's in the next room putting my daughter down for a nap. And then we're going to make some daytime drinks after. Oh. Yeah. So, and I'm also very grateful for you having me on, and grateful for the entire Star Wars community, the ones who are constantly arguing, the ones that are constantly being mean. One day, man, you'll see that there's no reason to be such a jackass on the internet. I'm grateful for perspective. I'm grateful for maturity. I'm grateful for growing up. I'm grateful for my daughter. There's all sorts of things that I'm grateful for. And I feel like so much in my personal real life has paralleled my evolution of viewing Star Wars too. Like whether it be so hell-bent on only liking the originals and then watching the Clone Wars because a bunch of viewers told me to. And then I love the Clone Wars, So like, yeah, perspective. I'm grateful for perspectives changing. Let's just say that.
I love it. And universe, allow the perspectives on the Rise of Skywalker to change because I don't want to not like a Star Wars. Let's bring it to me.
Yeah. Universe, if you're out there.
Exactly. All right. Well, hey, thank you very, very, very much. This is,
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad we can make it work. I know I'm pretty flaky and my schedule's all over the place. So I appreciate you accommodating it.
No, 100%. Thank you. Hey, where can people find your channel? Even though if you're listening to this, I'm sure they know who you are. But
just Google HelloGreedo and you'll see YouTube and probably some posts, people talking about me in a negative light.
Really?
Dude, I used to go on Reddit and like search me. Don't ever do this. It's been a couple years since I have. But like people would be like, HelloGreedo's at it again, telling us to like The Last Jedi. I'm like, no, I'm not. And they'll just like,
of course,
diarrhea.
it's The Last Jedi.
Yeah, diarrhea all over my opinions and make fun of everything.
Oh,
But
God.
I haven't done that in a couple of years. Don't do that.
Okay, I've never seen anything, but whatever. Yeah. And also remember, he's on social media a lot. So go do all those things because he's living there.
Follow me on Instagram. That's really about the only one that I like checking because it's just pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures of, I can't even believe I said this. So we're going to go out on, just look for Chewbacca's butt. A big, luscious Lego Chewie butt.
Dude, that's my legacy, man. That's my legacy. That's my biggest tweet ever. Like 87,000 likes. The dumbest thing I ever could have posted ever.
So funny. I mean, yeah, it's really, really fun. Oh, I live for it. All right. Well, thank you, my friend.
Anytime, man. If you ever want to chat again, I'm here. Oh, I appreciate it.
I love it. And I'm back. Mr. Greedo, Mr. Hello, thank you. That was a really, really, really wonderful time. Here I am, yet another weekend. I've had so many weekends with so many great people this last few months, and thank you to all of you for your time. I'm telling you. And then to wrap it up with Mr. Greedo here was just a real treat. I really am a genuine fan of his. He puts out a really, really great channel, and I appreciate his perspective. It's intelligent, it's thought out, it's funny, it's full of cursing. You know, something I don't do a ton of on here, but I enjoy it when I hear it. I gotta say, I do enjoy it when I hear it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, just thank you for being so open. Thank you for just, I probably have said it too many times, but thank you so much for just sharing that love for your daughter that you have. I was getting some real dad vibes and some real dad connections, and it was really, just really, really, really super. So I said that I had woken up at midnight the night before we recorded this, and which is true. And then while I was up, I made the decision to finish out this show called It's a Sin, which is on HBO Max. And I had started it, but it was a really, really hard watch. It's a show that takes place in the 80s, ends in the 90s, but it follows a group of queer people and their friend and ally during the AIDS crisis of the 80s. And it's a really hard watch. So it took me probably a month after I watched the first episode to finish it. And I just knocked it all out in one evening in the middle of the night by myself. And I'm glad I did. I mean, it's a part of queer history that if you go back and listen to our roundtables has been erased from history. And but it's really real, and these things happen. I mentioned, I think on mic, I can't remember, or if it was before, but about what the Empire is able to do in the erasure of the Jedi and their legacy and all that. And here it is in the real world, those things happen too. But anyways, at the end of this show, which honestly I think I really would suggest to everyone listening to this to go watch those 5 episodes. They are hard to watch, but the experiences shared by queer people and society around queer people, probably really heavily, specifically gay men during this time for sure, have legs that are still found today in culture and in society, and how we in the LGBTQ plus community are treated. So if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're supportive of us, or you are one of us, or an ally, or any of those things. But I really would highly suggest to watch it. I think it's important. But at the end, I don't want to take away much, but there's a line that I think is really, really important, and it's our jobs as parents are to pay attention to our children every single day. Think about who they are and who they could be, and that is something that I think HelloGreedo's daughter has. You could just tell that he really, really loves her. And a child that has that much love from a parent is going to grow up to be a very strong person and a very confident person and a good person and a person that has no shame in them. And so, you know, as a child who grew up gay, who didn't always necessarily get that, and deals with that every day still, to raising 3 children that unfortunately didn't get that before they came into our house. Listening to parents who love their children that much is really, really, really important to me, because I have seen the results of parents that don't love their kids enough. We watch what happens to children when they have parents and mentors and teachers who don't love them enough in this galaxy far, far away. And it doesn't ever end well for the people around them, for the individual themselves. So remember, love one another. If you're a parent, love your children and cherish your children and let them be who they are. It is not our job as parents to tell them who to become, but it is our job to encourage and guide them and show them the way and give them unconditional support. And sometimes as a parent, it's really hard, but that is what we are supposed to do. And if we're going to make a better future, as we talk about, and this younger generation has so much going for them, we want a better future. It starts by listening and loving. And I know that probably sounds corny, but it's true. So thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter at servingpinkmilk. You can follow us on Instagram at servingpinkmilk. Don't forget to follow HelloGreedo, as he said. Throw in the Google HelloGreedo, and you'll find all the places to go. Support him on Patreon. Make sure to head on over to Amazon. Buy his book. There is a link in the show notes below. If you can, we would really appreciate it if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show grow. And don't forget to tune in. If you're listening from HelloGreedo, you're a YouTube fan, we have a live stream every Friday night, late nights. Make sure to follow that. We have a really good time there. Again, HelloGreedo, thank you so very much. I'm going to do something different in honor of my guest. This is Pink Milk, and we're out. I don't think that's how HelloGreedo does it, so we're going to do it our way. Drink up. Bye.